So in this video, I want to talk about the effects my mental health has had from starting running. And it's just not really just running, but it's endurance training in general, something I have completely neglected. Like, I used to be one of those people that would see that runner's high and see the smiley faces on running gear and be like, that's gotta be total bullshit. Like, nobody enjoys this. But I gotta tell you, I have experienced it. I thought it was a myth, like unicorns, dragons, or a woman's G-spot. Like, it's a real thing.
When I say I'm happy, I genuinely mean it. Like, look at this. This is a genuine smile, and I am in the middle of a 5-mile run. Got about 1.3 left.
And the first step in this whole journey of getting into running was getting my form right. I had bad knees in college, which made me quit college baseball. So I finally decided, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I was tired of seeing people that performed better than me, not out of jealousy, but out of the fact that, hey, I'm very comfortable with what I'm comfortable with, which is getting under a barbell, moving heavy weight, deadlifting 600 pounds, squatting 500. But if you had me run a mile, I was like, hell no. And it's because I sucked at it. It was because I was scared to make myself vulnerable in a sense of physical fitness that I wasn't comfortable with. So I said, I want to do an Ironman. I've had it on my bucket list. I've had marathons on my bucket list. I've done one before, but not properly. And I also have like the Leadville 100 and qualifying for the Boston Marathon. So finally I thought, I'm going to do it right this time. So first step, get my running analyzed, get better at it. And that is where it all went very, very well. So after I got my running form analyzed, got into proper running form, the pain and all the anger I had through waking up and being like, this hurts, this sucks, was gone. And I finally got to enjoy running and following a program and actually doing it right this time. So that was step one. That's where I started feeling better, waking up with more energy, better cognitive function. A lot of this is anecdotal, but I'm very familiar with how my body works. And that's just the feelings that I was getting. And it started to make me wonder why. And I was looking at all these runners and getting really into the culture of running and following all these people, these ultra marathoners, these Olympic level marathoners, just even like heptathletes, and they're all smiling. And I was like, why are they smiling? Well, I'm smiling more. I feel better. I feel calmer. And it's different. It's different than like the CrossFit classes I would go to where you go for an hour, you get into zone 5, zone 4 training, and then you leave. Like, I think I'm fit by all accounts, probably above, well, I'm going to humbly say well above the average person. But something about running, that long form zone 2 training that just has me feeling better, where I'm going for these 13, 15 mile long runs, staying in that steady state heart rate zone, and just feel that dopamine just constantly hitting me. And I have some theories. So firstly, I wanted to know why. Why do I feel better running or doing endurance training than I do even barbell lifting? Like, step one, I feel great. Like, I'm a calm person. The CrossFit classes, the strength training, a lot of stuff I just normally do makes me feel mentally healthy. But this running and endurance added an additional element. Now, here's the problem. So exercise in general, through a number of things, improves sleep, improves oxygen flow to the brain, decreases depression, anxiety through endorphins, such as dopamine, that dopamine rush you definitely get when you do and finish a difficult CrossFit workout. If it was a drug, you would OD on it. Improves cardiovascular exercise, which initiates what's called neurogenesis. Most of the studies in general are related to exercisers versus not exercisers. So even like running focused studies were runners versus people that are pretty static and not getting off the couch. I kind of have some theories on why this is. I did a video on the new stress monitor of Whoop, but what's really important were the studies that came out of it. One notable name, Andrew Huberman, on the study, talking about the benefits of cyclic sighing, breath work, and its effect on mental health. And when you're breathing properly through these zone 2 runs or even these like max effort runs, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel more in control. And when you're doing that for long periods of time, I think it has this exponential and this great benefit to you as a person. That's theory number one. Theory number two, this book, Outlived by Peter Attia, best health book I've ever read in terms of a perfect balance for someone like me with a background in biochemistry, or a novice reader, someone that's pretty ignorant to a lot of the underlying cellular biochemistry of the body. And there's a couple things that Peter Attia talks about in terms of how we live a better healthy lifespan, a health span. And one of them is zone 2. So when he talks about, for our purposes, we are interested in 2 particular regions of this continuum. Long, steady endurance work, such as jogging or cycling or swimming, where we are trained in what physiologists call zone 2, and maximal aerobic efforts, where VO2 max comes into play. These are 2 zones, max effort and zone 2, that follow within an endurance training program. So I'm getting the benefit multiple times a week of both of these zones. And the benefit of this, so zone 5, the maximum effort is going to increase and help with zone 2. A side benefit of zone 2 is that it also helps with cognition by increasing cerebral blood flow and by stimulating the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which we touched on earlier in the book. This is another reason why zone 2 is such an important part of our Alzheimer's disease prevention program. So the blood flow to the brain, the strengthening of the neurons in the brain just makes you feel more alert, more focused, more driven, and that in itself improves your mental health. So it's a lot of theory, nothing really tied directly to like a runner versus someone who does CrossFit, but I just want to share, it's crazy how much better I feel. Another book that I want to talk about is Born to Run. They talk about the attitude that people have that are runners, and they're just happy. I'm like, why are you smiling? Running ain't fun. Well, it's because they genuinely feel fun. Other theories I have is I stay off a treadmill, I go outside, I'm getting vitamin D, I'm exploring. That's one of the things where if I have a long run, I'm trying not to just run the same routes over and over again, finding new trails, discovering new things. It's like I'm being a tourist in my own city and rediscovering the city of Austin, Texas, by just really running these routes and just paying attention to the world around me. So it's been fantastic. I'm looking forward to just continually improving my endurance training. It's been incredibly fascinating and an amazing learning experience to just learn how my body's adapting, whether it's my diet, because that's another thing too. I'm eating differently, so it could be improving health. That's another thing that comes from studies. But I just wanted to share how my mental health has improved through the addition and introduction of endurance training into my body as someone who was fit. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you loved it. Let me know in the comments how you feel as someone who does endurance training or someone who does CrossFit or anything. How is your mental health, and how does whatever exercise you do contribute to your happiness? Thanks for watching.